And good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you, if that's even a thing. This is the Breakfast Burrito on YSN, your sports network, and we are happy to have you here today. I am DJ, well, every day I'm DJ Oakley, but today more than any day, I am happy to be joined by the world famous Squeaky Bandito, Eric McMahon, filling in for Tommy Pease. What's up, brother?
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed being had, and I think the NCAA had us all last night. So.
I'm with you. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. It was a busy weekend. What did you do this weekend, Squeaks?
Not a whole lot of anything.
Just kind of hanging out.
Just hung out.
It's always good. I mean, you always need one of those weekends every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
So I had a pretty just crazy weekend. We are really heavy with YSN stuff. Our first ever professional wrestling, indie wrestling event was held on Saturday. Bell time was at 1 o'clock. Obviously, that means that we had to be there about 9 a.m. To set up and to make sure we had everything in place for us. And, dude, Quaker City Wrestling is alive and well. It is. We started off, a few months ago with one of their events. It was QCW1. And we didn't tape it. We just kind of went and watched and kind of took everything in and saw if there was an opportunity there. And we met with their owners and, hit things off. And Saturday was our first kind of endeavor into the indie wrestling world, and it was awesome. It was a great show. A special thank you to Harley Davidson Bike Town and Austin Town for hosting that event, letting us use their power. And you just their tables, everything. So it was really cool. It was a free event for everybody, and it was pillar to post, Squeaks. It was people were there and they were loving everything that these local wrestlers had to give. And so far, there's been about 400 people that have watched the event on ysnlive.com. So a special thank you to those folks. But it was awesome. It was great. We had a championship match. And it was similar to Fastlane almost. They called it the Full Throttle Championship. And then there's a special circumstance. It can only be defended. It can be defended male or female, but it can only be defended in a multi-person match or a stipulation match. So it was the first championship. Spoiler alert, in case you haven't watched QCW Something from Nothing yet on ysnlive.com. The champion coming out of there was Mickey Mavis, and he's a first-time champion. He's going through a lot of adversity, and he comes out with the new championship, first time ever, the Full Throttle champion of QCW. A couple other great matches. I mean, all of the matches were really great. High octane, no pun intended. High octane coffee was in the house, passing out free coffee, but the real high octane was in the squared circle. So really cool event, and they're coming up with another one in May. It's going to be called Gym Tan Wrestle. That'll also be held on YSN. So make sure, Squeeze, we got to get you out there. I think you'd be a great addition to the team out there, and I think you could bring something to the table.
I don't look like some of the interviewers that the major promotions have, but I could probably do it.
Could you be the Mean Gene of YSN?
You mean drink double scotches all the time? Sure.
Let me tell you something, Squeaky Bandito. I think it'd be cool, man. And you're a huge wrestling fan, as we're about to find out. And Tommy, unfortunately, can't be with us this morning, due to some circumstances outside his control. But we appreciate you filling in. But you said, we talked a little bit before the show, you had a chance to watch the Fastlane pay-per-view, a little bit of it last night. What did you think?
I liked the show up until I finally just decided to just turn it off and go to bed because I had to get up in the morning to go to work or whatever. But I plan on going back and watching the last part of it that I missed as soon as I'm done today.
You said there was a match that really caught your eye. Which match was that?
I like the tag team match. I like the New Day and the Usos before the Bludgeon Brothers hit the ring and dismantled everybody, which if it's a PG promotion, I don't know why they want to dismantle everybody in that regard, but they were stealing each other's moves, and it was great.
There was a couple points last night, and I saw whenever Xavier Woods got dropped onto the steel steps, he might really have a concussion. His head hit hard. And I mean, every time they showed the replay, I grabbed the back of my head because I knew, I mean, that looked like it was going to hurt.
Well,
that's the risk you take. That's why you don't try these things at home, right, Squeaks?
There it is. I'm not going to go into it, but there it is.
The champion comes out, and the face that runs the place, spoiler alert, Squeaks, AJ Styles. The champ
that runs the camp.
Yeah, the champ that runs the camp, the face that runs the place, you name it, AJ Styles retains the WWE title, so that matches us up with Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania. That leaves John Cena kind of in the dust. What do you think happens with John Cena? You think we'll see him tonight on Raw?
Maybe we'll see him on NXT. Who knows?
Oh, NXT.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think we see a couple guys tonight that you're used to seeing. I think that possibly the Dead Man shows up tonight on Raw.
That's been going around. We'll see if that happens. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see if it happens.
You don't want to see it happen?
No, I don't. I don't want to see him wrestle again.
Really?
After I saw the last 3 years, he couldn't move. I don't want to see it.
I think he's – I mean, the pictures that I've seen looks like he's in the best shape of his life. Not really, but he's in better shape than he's been in the last 3 years.
I would hope so. He'll wrestle one time a year for the last 3 years. Or 4 or 5 or however long it's been.
So if he's not wrestling The Undertaker, who do you want John Cena, the franchise, to take on at WrestleMania?
Well, being that I think they're going to take this as the WrestleMania of the triple threats, I would anticipate one of those matches being made a triple threat match.
A triple threat?
Mm-hmm. I would anticipate it because the U.S. title is probably going to be a triple threat. The Intercontinental is going to be a triple threat. The SmackDown Tag Team titles are probably going to be a triple threat.
You think it's going to be Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton and Bobby Roode in the U.S. Championship?
Yes, I do.
I just don't think they know what to do with Jinder Mahal at this point.
I know what to do with them.
And?
Release him.
Not a Jinder fan, eh?
He can't wrestle.
There's a lot of guys on that.
We're going to get into the Bludgeon Brothers, but...
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't want to see a bunch of these triple threat matches. I think one's enough because you still got to book Rollins. You still got to book.
Rollins is already booked.
Who's he fighting?
Him and Finn Balor are fighting the Miz for the Intercontinental title.
You know what? You're right. You're right. Yep, I completely forgot about that. Yes, I mean, there's going to be a ton of. I don't want to see a bunch of three-ways. I don't, because I think it takes away from the one-on-ones. You know what I mean?
You don't want to see WrestleMania 2000 again?
You're right.
Where there was no one-on-one matches.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I think at one point they thought that the 3-person match was the way of the future, and it's just not. Stop trying to force it down our throats. I mean, I'm still a huge advocate for the one-on-ones.
Now I'm gonna like Asuka and Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. I'm gonna like that.
You think?
That's gonna be good.
I think the match of the night's going to be Nakamura versus Styles, and I think everybody.
I think it's going to be the match of the night too, but I think that match is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I would believe. You know, I thought Charlotte did a great job last night against Ruby Riott. I thought Ruby Riott really stepped her game up, and I'm not a huge fan of women's matches, but that one caught my eye. And
I think Asuka's the best worker on the entire roster.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if that'll be her first loss or they'll let her take the championship at WrestleMania.
I'm not betting on it.
Betting on what? The loss or the championship?
Either one. I'm not betting on that one. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
What do you think about the championship for well, I guess what do they call it now? The WWE Championship? What do you think is going to happen with that? I mean, we know it's going to be a good match. But do you think they're going to let Nakamura take the title?
I don't know, and I don't think they can go wrong either way.
I'm with you. I think it's no matter what happens, it's going to be a great match. I mean, he's my guy. He's the champ that runs the camp. He is AJ Styles. My alter ego is DJ Styles, in case you're wondering there, Squeaks. Right. Right. And I'll tell you what, dude, he's the champ. I'm still a huge John Cena fan, so I hope John Cena can match up well against somebody. I think it's going to be The Undertaker. I think it's going to be a retirement match, and I think that Cena puts down The Undertaker. It'll be interesting.
We'll see. We only got 4 weeks left, so we'll see.
So let's kick over to some real sports. For those people that have already tuned out, come on back. We're about to talk about some and what I said today. If you look in our description on YouTube, pro wrestling is a real sport, and we are going to talk about it. Well, we just did technically, but the NCAA March Madness bracket is up. Squeaks, what's your first impression, my friend?
That's bigger than pro wrestling. I'm sorry.
Did you watch the Selection Sunday show?
Yes, I did.
And what were your thoughts?
That any organization that was associated with the 5 families in New York is less corrupt than the NCAA.
What was there anything that kind of spurred this? I mean, I think you had that feeling going into it when you're watching the release of the brackets. What was? I mean, were you, I mean, you and I both don't have the luxury of having much hair to pull out, but were you pulling the hair out?
No, because I knew they were going to do it. I knew it was going to happen.
Was there anything that surprised you?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Other than the fact that I'll just say this right now. The fact that Syracuse, Texas, UCLA, and Oklahoma are in the tournament, and every other team that made the NIT should be in the NCAA tournament before Oklahoma. And they were even one of the last 4 they were comfortably in.
I mean, that was, yeah, I'm with you. That was
Syracuse was the last team in. I don't understand that.
Yep.
Syracuse finished ninth in the ACC. I don't understand that. What did Oklahoma finish? 8th?
Yeah, it wasn't amongst the top, I can tell you that.
They haven't beat anybody in the last month.
Right. I mean, here's the key here. The kicker is, you know, the first 4 kicks off on March 14th. So you're looking at what was that, Thursday? So
Tomorrow.
March 13th. You're right. It kicks off tomorrow. Yeah, you're right. So that's UCLA and SBON. And then you have LIU versus RAD. So you look at it and you say, at 6:40 tomorrow night, this thing kicks off, and you got the first 4, and UCLA is in that first 4. Syracuse is in that first 4, and that's Arizona State, correct, that they're playing?
Yes.
That's tough. I mean, that's a tough path for Syracuse. So I'm with you.
Arizona State, who opened up the season as the last Division I team to lose, didn't win a game in the last 2 months of the season, it seemed like.
Yep.
They made it in.
Incredible.
USC finished second in the Pac-10 in the regular season. They did not make it in.
Incredible. So then you have teams like Virginia, who ACC champion, right? Beating North Carolina the other day.
Number 1 team in the country.
Yep, number 1 team in the country to solidify their number 1 seed. That's in the South. They're in the South. So you have they're taking on UMBC. Then you have Creighton versus Kansas State. Yeah, and then you have Kentucky versus Davidson. That intrigues me. Kentucky, I mean, it seems like they were getting their stuff together. And then Davidson is always one of those teams, and going back to the Steph Curry days, that is looking for an upset. So do you think this is a possible 12-5 upset here with Davidson?
No, I've got maybe 2 upsets. I've got maybe 2 upsets at a 5-12. No, that's not one of them.
On the other side, West Virginia versus Murray State. I've got an upset on that one.
That's one of them.
Yep. Read that one. Then you have Arizona getting the 4 seed against Buffalo. Arizona probably playing the best basketball, most inspired basketball they've played all year. They kind of rallied around their coach, and for good reasons. And I mean, do you think Arizona can make a run of this thing?
If the FBI don't get a hold of the referee, sure.
Then you move along. It's Miami and Loyola, Chicago. That's the 11-6 seed. Can you see Miami letting this one flip to Loyola?
It's possible, but I don't think it's going to.
Okay. So then we're on to our next one, Wright State versus Tennessee.
Wright State, wrong college.
Nevada versus – you've been holding on to that one. Nevada versus
Yes,
Texas.
I have.
Do you think Texas can make a push with Shaka Smart there?
No, I don't think it should be in the tournament.
And then finally in the South, we have Cincinnati and Georgia State. Do the Bearcats move on?
I think the Bearcats got a good chance to go to the Elite Eight.
Ooh, okay. So let's move over to the East. Villanova versus – well, it doesn't matter. Villanova moves on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Georgia Tech and Alabama. Who do you got?
Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Virginia Tech and Alabama.
Pick them.
We already know you're West Virginia versus Murray State. Let's do Wichita State versus Marshall. Who do you got?
Wichita State.
Florida versus the 11 seed. I don't even – Bonn, L.A.
Which I think is going to be State Bonaventure. I think that's who it's going to be.
Yeah.
After Florida wins that.
Okay, and then you have Texas Tech versus Stephen F. Austin.
Texas Tech, but I wouldn't be shocked.
You like Stephen F. Austin.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Austin 316 says we're moving on to the next round.
No, I wouldn't be shocked, but I think it's going to be Texas Tech.
Arkansas versus Butler.
I like Butler.
Purdue and Cal State Fullerton.
Purdue.
All right, move on to the Midwest. Kansas versus Penn.
Next.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Seton Hall versus NC State.
I think that's a pick 'em too.
Really?
8-9s are usually pick 'ems.
Clemson versus New Mexico State.
New Mexico State.
Auburn Charleston.
Auburn.
The Horned Frogs of TCU versus Arizona State or Syracuse.
I don't know.
Here's my question. Why do they do the 11th seed? Why isn't it always the 16th?
Because usually the 11s that do the last four in, all the ones past that are usually all the one pick conferences. They just stick there at like 12 on down. That's
interesting, man. I mean, considering that both of these teams are viable for an 11 seed and they don't even get into the tournament if they lose. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's a tough draw. Moving on, Michigan State and Bucknell. Who do you got?
Sparty.
URI versus Oklahoma.
Rhode Island.
Duke and Iona.
Duke.
All right. And then on to the West. Xavier versus the winner of NCC versus, is it Texas State?
Texas Southern.
Texas Southern, okay.
I find it a little ironic that for the first four, that both those schools are historical black colleges and they're playing each other in Dayton.
Yeah, that's weird.
You find that ironic?
That's real weird.
I'd like to go back and see how many times that's actually happened. I'm willing to bet it's happened more than it probably should.
You got Xavier?
Yeah.
Missouri, Florida State.
That's a pick 'em, but it depends on if Michael Porter's healthy for the Tigers.
Buckeyes versus the Buffaloes. OSU versus South Dakota State. Or I guess the Bison.
South Dakota State? No, they're the Jackrabbits.
What?
They're the Jackrabbits.
I blew that one, didn't I?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State. That's where Wentz came from. Okay, that's why I'm thinking. Okay, South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits. All right, you got Buckeyes or Jackrabbits? Or Jackasses like I am right now.
Buckeyes.
Buckeyes. Go on. Gonzaga.
And I want to see that matchup in the second round. I want to see that.
The Buckeyes versus the Bulldogs, huh?
I want to see that.
Houston versus San Diego State.
Houston.
That team up north versus Montana.
The team up north.
Texas A&M versus Providence.
How much more money till the guy from Providence can rip his pants again during the game?
Oh, jeez.
Wow. I like that.
You pick up, and then you got the Tar Heels in North Carolina versus Lipscomb.
Tar Heels.
Yep, that's what I figured. All right, there's your first round spoilers from Squeaky Bandito. And Squeak, there's a ton of stuff out there right now about this tournament, obviously. But one of the most interesting things is our mid-majors, most mid-majors right now are really upset. Do you get why they're upset and not part of this in March Madness anymore because of the change by the committee?
And that would be the quadrant thing they're trying to push?
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
I would push it to the reasons why Middle Tennessee State and some of the other teams aren't in this tournament aren't because they're mid-majors. It's because, unlike the Oklahomas of the world, unlike the Texas of the world, money talks, the rest of it runs the marathon.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's kind of what the mid-majors, when they win, make this tournament what it is. When you look at when Texas is playing North Carolina, that's a big money matchup, right? And like you said, money talks, but reality is if you have a Youngstown State going in there and they can stand up and beat a Texas or a North Carolina, the TV ratings are ridiculous.
But the Vegas lines are not.
That's the issue. When Vegas loses, that's what you're looking at. So are you on the side of the mid-majors or are you on the side of the committee here?
I'm on the side of neither of them. I'm with the supposed king on this. I think the NCAA is completely corrupt.
Wow. Well, I think we all know that. But if you had to pick a side, whose side would you be on?
Probably the committee because, for the most part, they usually get it right.
So the teams, the mid-majors that have to basically be perfect the entire season are out because of this new supplemented kind of blueprint. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with the bigger teams that are eighth in their conference going in and playing in place of a team that might have won 20-some games, 24 games?
No, I'm not all right. I'm not all right with that.
But that's essentially what the committee has done.
Because they have essentially pumped up 5 conferences.
Yeah, they have
five
the
or
big
6 conferences.
What do they call them? The Power 5?
The Power 5 of football, they call it the Power 6 of basketball because they count the Big East in on that.
Yeah, the Big East isn't much of a power anymore.
For basketball, they still are, other than the fact that the only team that does anything in the NCAA tournament out of the Big East has been Villanova. They're the only ones that have done anything.
Right. That's the only. If Villanova leaves the Big East, do you think that's a wrap?
No.
Really?
No, it's still good basketball.
Really?
It's still good basketball. The problem is it was the same way with the old Big East, where half of them left and went to the ACC.
Wow.
It's so physical in the Big East that they can't match up when people actually start calling fouls. I'll throw this one out, too. Last year, Wichita State made the tournament, won the Missouri Valley Conference, correct?
I believe so. If you say it, Squeaks, you're the basketball analyst. I know nothing.
They had a 10 seed. They had a 10 seed last year. This year, they move up to the American, which I think is a step above the Missouri Valley Conference. I don't think it's much higher than that.
All right.
Not only did they not win the regular season title or the conference title, they didn't even play for it. They're 4 seed.
That's incredible.
It's unreal.
But then you have the teams like Butler that, what was it, the Horizon League at one point, that YSU?
Yeah, that's what they were in, yeah.
And Butler makes the transition to big boy basketball, and they can hang. So, there's advocates for both sides.
I think it's more amazing they're in the tournament because they lost their coach yet again.
Yeah, right? No, it's incredible. It's one of those things where you want to be – I'm on the side of the mid-majors in this one. Well, basically because I'm never going to be on the side of the NCAA ever again. I think they're as corrupt as it comes, and I think they take money however they can because, like you said, money talks. And someday, it's going to be seen and heard all over the world that the NCAA is a busted organization from the top down. So I'm with
NCAA with all their corporate champions they sponsor and their student athletes because they call them all student athletes.
Correct. And that's the thing. And I won't be, I still think that, I think you've been a part of this conversation. I think D3 athletes should get paid. I think they should get paid scholarships at least for athletics, because they're one of the main reasons that, athletics is one of the main reasons that you have money to flow in the first place, other than tuition. If it wasn't for that.
Well, that costs $40,000 to go to Division III school.
Well, that's it. But at the end of the day, if you want, you look at Mount Union, they know what they're doing. They know how to plug it, and they're doing it very well. But they're playing by the rules. There's some schools that can't play by those rules, and they miss out on athletes. They miss out on talent because they do that. The NCAA is a joke. It's an absolute joke in my personal opinion. The big thing for me is mid-majors are doing everything they possibly can, but they're never going to be able to compete, especially given all the accusations that are out there right now and the news that is breaking about some of these schools. They're never going to be able to compete with these schools in ways of their programs, because they can't literally give $100,000 checks to athletes' parents. They're trying to do it the right way, but hey, the NCAA keeps cracking down.
Well, they're never going to compete, too, because if you look at football-wise, go look at somebody like Cincinnati's workout room and go look at Ohio State. They're just never going to compete.
Right.
That's all there is. That's all there is to it.
But a lot of that money comes from quote-unquote boosters, right?
Yeah, but even some Big Ten schools lose money. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
What Big Ten schools out there losing money?
Iowa's losing. There's like 3 or 4 that lost money. Illinois lost money. Rutgers lost money. Iowa lost money. I think there was somebody else that didn't turn a profit.
Iowa?
Yeah.
How did Iowa lose money?
I'd like to know that, but
they sell out all their games. They're beating. They're really successful right now. How are they losing money? Something's up there. Interesting. We'll have to look into that one. Scrape the barrel on that one a little more. But you're on the side of the committee on this one, huh?
They usually get it right for the most part. For the most part, they usually get this right. I understand why they put Oklahoma in the tournament. They don't deserve to be there. They're not a good team. They were an 11-win team last year. They're there because the King gave the rain endorsement to Trae Young. That's why they're there. And they don't care if it's one and done with him. They just want people to see Trae Young. That's why they're in the tournament.
Here's the thing, man. There's one team that we did not hear their name called. And that team, pretty popular amongst, the country. Notre Dame, not in the tournament. Was that a snub, or was that
good? Good.
For me, I had Notre Dame in. They were hanging for a while, and then they just kind of fell off the map. From what I found, I don't know.
Well, until Davidson stole that bid from the A-10, they were the last team in.
Yep, Notre Dame, and that's it. We've talked about it before. Notre Dame has trouble committing as a whole to conferences. They're in what are they in right now?
They're in the ACC.
The ACC, and they have trouble committing outside. So I think the NCAA, not just the committee, but the NCAA as a whole has a hard time saying, okay, well, if you're not going to commit, if you're on the bubble, guess what? Your bubble's popped.
No, they're in the ACC for everything but hockey and football.
That's what I'm saying. Having trouble commit, like go all in or you're out. I think the NCAA still holds a little bit of a grudge against Notre Dame, but that's just me.
Well, the reason why they're not in the ACC for hockey is because the ACC doesn't sponsor hockey. That's why they're in the Big Ten.
And for football?
They're just an independent, but they play 5 ACC schools. So
why do you think they're independent?
I've been to Notre Dame Stadium. I know why they're independent.
You know why?
I know why they're independent.
Because they can bring in more on their own than they could ever do from a shared contract with television.
The only 2 schools that could bring in more than them are Texas and Ohio State. They're the only 2 schools that could bring in more than them.
And even then, it's tough. So because
it didn't seem like they were struggling at Notre Dame when I was there. It didn't seem like it.
Well, you know what I mean. Like Notre Dame, from the standpoint of Notre Dame has been bad for a long time, and they still bring in a sellout crowd almost every week, if not every week. And Texas, it's to me Texas, but it's also they don't get, they might get some of the airtime nationally, but they don't get near as much as they had when they had Vince Young as their quarterback, and they were fighting for championships each and every year. Even with Colt McCoy as their quarterback, they had some great airtime. I don't see much in the way of Texas anymore on TV, on the national. I mean, Notre Dame's on every Sunday, or excuse me, every Saturday on NBC.
Because they have a little television contract.
Just a little baby one. NBC's got them taken care of.
Yeah, a little baby one. Okay. I have to fund $400 million in one of the sweetest video boards I've ever seen in a football stadium. Yeah.
So you're okay with Notre Dame not being in the tournament?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. We're at 2014 anyways.
So the next, we'll put a wrap on this. I mean, we don't have to say it now because we're going to have our bracket challenge out there. Our friend Anthony Hartwig is taking care of that. So make sure you stay on the lookout for the YSN Bracket of All Brackets Championship. If you are the winner, if you pick the best kind of bracket, we'll give you a T-shirt or something. And Squeaky, you got your own T-shirt coming, buddy.
I saw that.
You excited?
Yeah.
A little bit of 316-ish to your resume, and I'm definitely getting one. They're looking pretty sweet, my friend. I'm excited to see the YSN world rocking the Squeaky Bandito 330 shirts. What's the color you're going with? You going with the black and white traditional, or are you going to go with a blue and white?
Maybe both.
Whoa!
Maybe both.
I could see you cleaning up. You're going to be the number one person buying from our store. You're going to buy all your own merch. We need a Squeaky Bandito 330 headband, so you can rock that looking like LeBron in the morning. We'll have to turn the videos on. Yeah, there is there also. I don't know if anybody. Well, nobody's seen it other than us, but there is a Bandito. What are they called? What the heck is it? The thing that the dogs were Bandito bandana that is available. Will be available on ysnlive.com, so you can make sure that your friendly four-legged friends are well represented with a Bandito bandana. Or the newest line is going to be YSN versus the world. So we will have YSN versus the world shirts, and then we will hopefully have some shirts that represent your school colors. So I know we have one already for our friends over at South Range, the Hoist the Colors shirt. So stay on the lookout for the YSN store. It is your shirt network. So it's that see the play on YSN, not your sports network. It's your shirt network. My wife says your stuff network because there's more than just shirts, but we'll see. All right, man. Hey, you're a Niners fan. Some big news for the 49ers this weekend. Richard Sherman, your new cornerback. How you feeling?
I played the fifth.
Really? Come on.
I played the fifth.
Give him some love one way or the other.
I played the fifth.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If I'm a Niners fan, I despise this because this is just a play for Richard Sherman to make a little extra money. What, $39 million, something like that? For 3 years, he's not that guy anymore. I think,
or nothing because it's incentive laden, or nothing.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think this is a solid signing for the Niners, and they have money to spend, so it's not big to them. But reality is, you got a a guy from New England out there that is going to be lingering, I think. I don't think he's going to be a hot commodity today. I could be completely off here. But Malcolm Butler is a guy that would fit right in San Francisco and would give you guys defense an unbelievable bite as opposed to an unbelievable bark.
All I got to say about Richard Sherman is, thank God he acted as his own agent.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. He said that this is, he came out and said that this is, a venge pick for him.
Why? Because the Crabtree's still on the Raiders. He can guard him again, talk trash on him again,
and get trashed. I mean, it's one of those things where it's the 49ers. I know what they're looking for. They're looking for a little bit of if they're looking for bark, they got him, but they need a little bit of bite to go with it. And even though they still have that first round pick, a very high first round pick, may I add, I think they end up going with the kid from Ohio State in their defensive backfield. But you just never know what happens in that draft. What happens if they have to go with the second, third best defensive back? And they have, the 9th pick, right?
9th.
So, going to be interesting. I don't know that Richard Sherman's the mentor that I would want in my locker room for these young guys, but who knows? Can't plead the fifth on YSN.
Yes, I can. I just did.
While it is America, as a commentator, you should never plead the fifth.
Like Dave Chappelle, I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth.
All right, so there's gonna, if you're not gonna talk about it, we'll move on. But I think that that pickup is hot garbage, and that's exactly what I expect it to be. I think he's gonna be a cancer in the locker room. I think he's gonna hurt the Niners more than he's gonna help them. But Squeaky doesn't have a say on it, apparently. What do you think is going to happen today, my friend? What's the biggest move you want to see, and what's the biggest move you don't want to see in the NFL today? Because it's, what do they call it? The legal tampering begins right now. Literally, it started an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to find out what the Browns are doing.
How do you feel about their moves they made the other day?
For the first hour they made their moves, I thought it became apparent what they were going to do, and then 10 minutes later, they shot that down.
So Jarvis Landry was good.
Yes.
Tyrod Taylor.
Even though I think he's a bum, yes, I thought that was good. Because I thought that showed what they were going to do with the number 1 pick. Because as much as I think Tyrod Taylor's hot garbage, he's not going to turn the ball over. So that means, in my opinion, they were going to basically just have him turn around and hand the ball off. What he did in Buffalo last year, turn around and hand the ball off. And that would make the number 1 pick. But then they traded the backup quarterback 10 minutes later to the Packers for defensive back, and then they're going to trade Shelton to the Patriots.
What's your take on that? I mean, Deshaun Kaiser, and he's not a very good safety net, but I think he's a very capable backup quarterback, and I think that's what the Packers saw.
If he's a safety net. He's a safety net. That's what you need.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to take Saquon Barkley number 1 overall, backup quarterbacks, and now I don't know what they're going to do.
Right.
I've got no clue.
I mean, it's going to be interesting because now you still need your franchise quarterback, but Tyrod Taylor is going in there thinking he's a QB1.
So I guess the big rumors that are going around now, I don't know how well these are, is they still got 2 picks in the top 4, right?
Yes, 1 and 4.
2 first-round picks. What just happened in Pittsburgh?
What just happened in Pittsburgh?
Yep. What just happened in Pittsburgh?
There's a lot that happens in Pittsburgh. You tell me.
They franchised Lev Bell.
You think that they're going to – I saw this crap. I saw this. You're saying that they're going to trade for Le'Veon Bell for the number 1 draft pick?
For the moves they make, it makes sense. But
listen, I'm all for it. If it happens,
I wouldn't do it. But for the moves they made, it makes sense.
I'm with you. I think that if it happens, that's awesome. But the problem is if it does, if that doesn't occur, then the Browns are in a world of hurt because they made a bunch of moves and moved the shells around for nothing, for absolutely nothing. Because Saquon Barkley is not going to single-handedly save your franchise. I love the kid. The Browns are not in a place that they can draft a great running back, number one overall, because they don't have anybody to hand it off to. And for all of you Browns lovers out there who love Tyrod Taylor, explain to me why the Bills were not better than they were last year.
Well, they were better with him than they were with Nathan Peterman.
Well, I think the Bills would be better with you or I than they would be with Nathan Peterman. Let's be honest.
That's how Peterman played in college. Couldn't believe he made it to the NFL.
And that's the thing. You look at the state that Pitt was in when he made it there, and they were terrible. And it was a lot of it was because of him. He was a terrible quarterback in college.
They won games despite the fact he was there.
Yep. So when you look at this, the Browns have got to make moves, and they've got to make big ones. So either they're expecting Kirk Cousins to be a Cleveland Brown or somebody of that stature, or they got Tyrod Taylor. Here's my take on it. They got Tyrod Taylor to buy them a couple years until a guy like Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, even Lamar Jackson can take over the reins. But then let me ask you this. You knowing the Browns as well as you do, what the hell changed between now and what they've been doing for the past 20 years?
Well, they got a new GM. And the new GM, before the season ended last year, when they were on their 0-16 run, said, we're going to turn over the roster because there's not a lot of people here that should be playing football in the NFL. You remember Dorsey saying that?
Yep.
And I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think they're trying to turn over the roster. And I don't think Barkley's the answer. I don't think Lev Bell's the answer.
What's the answer? Does he wear number 8?
Who wears number 8?
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, hell no.
Really?
Hell no. I think whoever gets him in the next couple of days is going to have buyer's remorse in about 6 months.
See, I disagree. I think if they get Kirk Cousins, they draft Barkley, it's ball game. I mean, you're looking at 8-9 wins right there for the Cleveland Browns.
Here's the Browns' major problem. They go that route and they want to hand the ball off. Who's going to block it for them because they have no line?
No, I'm with you on that. But with the receiving core that they have, you can build around it, especially with Jarvis Landry now. You have Josh Gordon. You have Coleman. You can build your line around guys like that. Kirk Cousins basically he's keeping his options open. He's not stupid. But I would leverage Cleveland. And if his agent is worth his weight in gold at all, I would leverage Cleveland against everybody to mark up that dollar.
I don't think they need to leverage Cleveland to mark up that dollar. I think it's going to happen regardless.
But you got somebody that's so desperate. And if you're the Cleveland GM, you have to be going after Kirk Cousins with everything you have. Everything you have. Everything you have. Everything. You got Jarvis Landry. You've got Josh Gordon. You've got Coleman. You've got that huge tight end whose name's hard to pronounce. Njoku or whatever his name is. And then that's all well and good, but if you don't have somebody to throw him the ball or throw any of them the ball, what do you have? You have Tyrod Taylor.
And that's why they got Jarvis Landry. Because he's a possession receiver and all Tyrod Taylor can throw is 10-yard routes.
Well, that's just it. I mean, when you look at Tyrod Taylor, what's he most known for? scrambling, his leg.
Checking down and 10-yard route stop there.
And that's it.
Running.
That's it. So you've got these guys that can beat him over the top. And I'm with you with Landry. That's exactly what he's going to be used for. But Josh Gordon's not going to hang around to watch this work. Njoku's got what he got, 3 years? You got a 4-year contract for rookies. He's not going to hang around.
That's if Josh Gordon comes back.
He's a restricted free agent, correct?
Yeah, who has burned the Browns organization multiple times.
Oh, yeah, he's burned a lot of things multiple times, I'm sure. But
I mean, 2 colleges, an NFL franchise. I mean, yeah, he's burned a lot of things.
I think that if you're putting all your and Tommy's a huge Josh Gordon advocate, and he loves him, and I'm not going to beat him up if he's not here to defend himself. But I'll tell you what, Josh Gordon to me is the same as Martavis Bryant for the Steelers. That dude is one puff away from never seeing the light of the NFL again. And that's not the kind of guy that I'm putting my franchise in the hands of. He's not going to hold my franchise ransom or hostage in that case. It's just not going to happen. So, and I think the Browns are kind of finally seeing it where they say, okay, if we lose Josh Gordon, because here's the thing too, Squeaks, if you look down the road, the Steelers drafted their wide receivers. They drafted Juju Smith-Schuster. They drafted who was the kid from Clemson that they drafted? Sammy
Coates. It's Martavis Bryant.
They drafted who was the Sammy Coates? Where did Sammy Coates come from?
He came from Texas A&M.
Sammy Coates came from Texas A&M?
I think he might have.
I thought he came from Auburn as well, or Clemson as well, but I could be wrong. But they knew that Martavis was going to be suspended, so they could do this in the draft. Do you think the Browns know something we don't know?
Auburn.
Yet?
He came from Auburn.
Auburn. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. So do you think the Browns know something we don't know? Do you think they know that Josh Gordon may be suspended? I'm just speculating. Because they got 3 standout receivers right now, and they have 0 quarterbacks other than Tyrod Taylor, who you said is a check down guy. The Browns are not going to win games on 10-yard checkdowns. Would you agree with that?
I don't know how many games the Browns are going to win, period.
People have got them winning 5 games already just from the moves they made this weekend.
What?
This weekend.
They've won 3 games in 3 years.
A 5-game swing based on the position players they picked up this weekend. Tyrod Taylor, Jarvis Landry, a defensive back who everybody think they're hanging the franchise on from Green Bay.
That's called Browns season. That's all it is. Everybody they picked up is the greatest thing they've ever picked up.
What moves are they going to, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase this. What moves are they going to make that's going to make them a playoff contender or at least viable this year?
Move the franchise?
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
Then it's somebody else's problem. I guess that's what you're looking at.
It worked for Baltimore.
No. See, the Browns, when they left for Baltimore, were a team that was getting better. They were getting better. In Baltimore, and I will back the Browns fans on this one. Listen, I hate the most of you if you're a Browns fan. I'll be straight up. I hate almost all of you if I'm not lying here because of your actions. Because if one of you spouts off about beating the Steelers, or here's the worst fan of all. I'm a Browns fan and whoever plays the Steelers that week. I hate you. I hate your guts. Hate him because that's not a Browns fan. That's just being a D-bag. But I will tell you this. When the Browns moved to Baltimore won the championship, they won the Super Bowl, that's Cleveland's Super Bowl title.
5 years later.
It's still, though, that's Cleveland's title.
5 years later.
Baltimore,
Super Bowl, right?
Baltimore is not a destination spot as a Florida or a California, or Baltimore is they built that roster around Cleveland guys. They got Ray Lewis, which he would have been taken by. Everything would have happened exactly the same in Cleveland that it did in Baltimore.
Yes, because Bill Belichick set that board before he got fired.
Yep.
He set that board before they got fired, and Ray Lewis should have been wearing Cardinal and red, Cardinal and gold. That was the 49ers pick. That was the 49ers pick. Thank you, J.J. Stokes.
So is there anybody out there today that you think you're going to be keeping your eye on other than Kirk Cousins?
There seems to be some people available, but we'll see. It's been pretty slow already. Usually people decide, but it's been pretty slow as of right now.
Is there anybody you'd want to see the 49ers take?
Sammy Watkins. I don't think that's going to happen.
Never know. You never know.
Yeah, let him go there and be the decoy like he was in I almost said St. Louis, like he was in LA last year, and let the other two receiver who they just re-signed, who's literally an all-world track and field athlete, just run around. Because Marquise Goodwin is literally a world-class athlete. If things would have gone right, he would have won the long jump gold medal.
All right, dude. So if Sammy Watkins is a Niner, you are super happy.
I'm more happy than I am that they signed Richard Sherman.
If the 49ers draft this person, you are going to be pissed beyond belief. Or I'm not draft. If they sign this person, you're going to be pissed beyond belief. Who is that person?
That already happened.
Richard Sherman is that guy?
That already happened.
Really? Richard Sherman is that guy for you?
I think a lot of the problems that happened to Seattle the last couple of years has been Sneaky P's inability to control the people in his locker room. I think it's been a lot of their problems.
Really?
And I think they got a lot of people in place that are trying to clean that up now.
Huh.
Because they got rid of him. They traded the Las Vegas PD's favorite athlete, Michael Bennett, to the Eagles.
But he's that guy. They already picked that guy for you. That's
incredible. They already did. That's why I tried to plead the fifth, because they didn't want to completely rip it, but I couldn't hold it.
All right, brother. Here it is. Our wrap-up for today's show. As we started the other day, we are retiring jersey numbers, and we are up to episode 30. That means that the number 30 will be retired. Who do you got? Who's retiring? Whose number are we retiring here on episode 30?
The all-time leader for wins in the National Hockey League for goaltender, Martin Brodeur.
Martin Brodeur. The New Jersey Devil, correct?
Yes.
Were you a Martin Brodeur fan?
No.
You're a Pens fan. You're a Pens fan, right?
Yes. No, I wasn't a Brodeur fan. He was good, though. He was really, really good.
Okay, so this one's a little bit of a stretch for me, and I'm with you on Brodeur. This one is a stretch because he's most known for wearing another number in another, I guess, organization. My number 30 is Nolan Ryan for the I guess it's, I don't know, it'd be the California Angels, but they're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim now. But Nolan wore number 30 for the Angels, and it is retired in their seats. And Nolan Ryan, to me, not only one of the best pitchers of all time, but one of the biggest hard asses to ever take the mound. And for that, anytime I can retire Nolan Ryan, it's getting retired.
You'll have that chance in about 4 shows, too.
What if I want to retire Richard Mendenhall?
I'd retire Shaq's 34 before I retired his number 34.
There's a lot of 34s out there. Charles Barkley. And we can retire a lot of 34s.
Now tomorrow you're gonna have a hard because there's not a lot of 31s.
You know who 31 is? That's me, baby. 31 is me all day long. That is my number. And I mean, I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, it's Mike Piazza, because that's who I based my number off of.
Ooh.
I love me, and Greg Maddux is there too. Greg Maddux is a smart guy, intelligent guy. Listen, I know 31 better than I know any other number. 31, if you were anywhere close to me, you know the 31 is my heart and soul. That is the number I wear like I wear it. It's like attached to my last name, 31 is. So there's a special place in my heart for tomorrow's show, episode 31, and we're gonna hype the crap out of it, and we're gonna be bringing it tomorrow, man. You clapping for me?
Yeah, I am.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Tomorrow, will you be with us, or are we gonna have?
Yes.
Is it gonna? Okay, man.
Yes.
It's gonna be hopefully we get the tripod back. The Bandito returns to the show, hopefully becoming a staple here on the Breakfast Burrito. But for now, that's it. Any final thoughts, Mr. Squeaky Bandito?
Yeah, I don't like Richard Sherman.
That was your final thought was the thought you had from the top of the show all the way to the bottom. So just in case you're just joining us, Richard Sherman sucks. That's what he's basically saying.
At life.
Eric, thank you so much. Squeaky Bandito, everybody. And that is our show. That's a wrap on the Breakfast Burrito, episode number 34. Mr. Squeaky Bandito. For Tommy Pease, I am DJ Yoakley. So long, everybody. It's a great day.
Make it yours.